Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I want to talk about tapping back into your why. And what I mean by that is, we start our growth journey. We might set out on a fitness journey. We might set out on a career path. And, the start to that journey, the start to that path, there's always a why behind why we actually went down that road to begin with. And a lot of times we just kind of we're going through the motions, and we develop a lot of positive habits, a lot of healthy habits, and we kind of get into a routine. But sometimes we can actually lose focus on why we started this journey to begin with. And a lot of times, from what I noticed, is that when you get to that reassessment stage, it's usually when kind of things are not necessarily going the way that you envision them to go, or maybe you're going through a little bit of a rough patch. But one thing that's really important to, kind of keep a perspective when you're along this growth journey, or just along any type of journey, whether it's fitness or whether it's, for me personally, it might be YouTube, or your career, whatever it may be, is that, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be ebbs and flows. But at the end of the day, the main way that we're going to be able to accomplish the goals that we kind of set out for is by, perseverance and kind of never quitting. Because, a lot of times we can kind of go to these low points. This happens to me on a regular basis, to be completely honest with you. It's not necessarily going to a super low point, but sometimes I just get to the point where I have to reassess what I'm doing. Maybe things aren't necessarily working the way I envision it to do, or maybe I'm just not enjoying the process as much as I, originally was. And a lot of times I have to tap back into like, what's the reason why I actually started this YouTube channel? What is the reason why I'm actually, trying to master these calisthenics skills? What is the actual purpose behind it? Am I just trying to be able to do a front lever so I can put it on YouTube, or do I actually want to master that skill for myself? So these are kind of questions that you kind of have to ask yourself and tap into from time to time. Now, that front lever thing, that's just a kind of example I just came up with, because I actually really wanted to learn. I've been wanting to learn the front lever for a long time, so that's the reason why I'm going so hard at it. But in general, for me, I guess one of the things for me was just kind of making YouTube videos, and I had to actually reassess this within the last, day or so. And I just been thinking like, what exactly, because, I had to tap back into what was exactly the purpose of my YouTube channel to begin with. And the purpose, and, this is something I kind of worked out myself, is that the purpose of my YouTube channel was to actually document my journey along my growth with calisthenics, my growth with, spirituality, or maybe just my own personal growth on a mental level, and kind of try to give back, or pay it forward, so to speak, help people along the way, maybe not have to run into some of the stumbling blocks that I've ran into along the way. Like, if they can learn a calisthenics skill faster than I did, that's a great thing. If I can help somebody along the way with that, so they don't have to go through certain stumbling blocks I went through with training and waste their time doing certain things, why not do that? If I can help somebody in terms of some experiences I might have had in my life when I was going through situations with relationships, and I can help somebody not go through those pitfalls, especially helping a young man who might come from a similar background as me, why wouldn't I do that? So for me, that's actually the reason why I made this channel to begin with. But anyways, with your own personal, story, or your own personal journey, along the way, you're gonna have to ask yourself why. What is the reason why I'm working out every day? What is the reason why I'm trying to self-improve? What is the reason why I took this job? What is the reason why, I got into this relationship? So sometimes we're gonna have to ask ourselves why. And at the end of the day, one thing that I think is extremely important is kind of having that never quit mentality. You know what I mean? We started out on this path, we started on this journey for a reason. And I truly think that if we started out this journey, if we started out this kind of mission for a reason, we have to follow up with it. Just kind of keep in mind that you're gonna have these times where, you take these dips. Sometimes I like to look at life like a blue chip stock. Even though that blue chip stock is gonna be steady gaining value and it's gonna be steady going up, sometimes we take dips, sometimes our life makes corrections. But when we take those dips, that's when it's time to make the correction. When we get down to that low place, that's when it's time to kind of reassess and see, maybe I'm not doing everything correctly. Maybe I need to kind of get back to the basics. Maybe I need to do this, or maybe I need to do that. So, that's kind of where I stand in terms of the correction. That's actually kind of where I'm at right now. when it comes down to just making content, training, different things of that nature. So it's just kind of getting back to that reassessment point and kind of reflecting, doing some self-reflecting and assessing where I'm going to take my journey from here. So, as you guys can see, I've been playing a video of myself doing a workout in the background. I wanted to share with you guys a workout that I was doing today. Honestly, this workout was kind of inspired by kind of getting back to the basics and kind of getting back to, a certain training style that I personally really enjoy. I personally enjoy doing reps and sets. I personally enjoy doing certain types of exercises, sticking to a lot of the fundamentals. I've been going through a ton of skill training lately, and as much as I do get a lot of fulfillment out of doing skills, a part of me still wants to make sure that I get these sets and reps in. It's just something about them. It's something about, hitting sets of 15 pull-ups or hitting sets of 20 dips or doing Korean dips or a lot of these different exercises that kind of brings back that flame, that fire inside of me that kind of got started on this calisthenics journey to begin with. Now, as you can see as well, I was also doing a little bit of skill training earlier, doing some handstands, tiger bender handstand push-ups, and honestly, that's a skill that's just extremely fun to me. So for me, it's like I wanted to kind of put together a workout today that kind of brought the joy back into training and not necessarily just going through the grind. So a lot of times, maybe when we're at these low points or maybe when, we're kind of making these self-corrections, maybe it's time to get back to the thing that actually brought you the most joy to begin with when it comes down to your journey or your passion or your purpose, whatever you might want to call it, your mission in life. So these are just things to think about. Another thing to think about is that, when it comes down to all the greats in all aspects of life, I think that it's safe to say that they had one thing in common, and that thing in common is just perseverance and willpower. I was chopping it up with my homeboy James. Obviously, you guys know him from the joint channel that me and him have, High Octane Calisthenics. If you guys haven't, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. But yeah, I was chopping up with James earlier about this same subject, and we were kind of talking about this same thing, just kind of that lull and that kind of dip that we kind of all take it from time to time in life. And we were just kind of comparing it to being like a prize fighter, maybe an MMA fighter or a boxer or something like that. A lot of times, there's definitely different athletic advantages somebody can have in the ring or the octagon or whatever it may be, or even put it into a basketball court. But a lot of times the people who end up going down as the all-time greats have the most willpower. Think about the all-time greats. You got Michael Jordan. Obviously the dude was an athletic beast and he was just super gifted athletically. But, when it comes down to mentality and mindset, I don't think there's ever been an athlete like Michael Jordan. Think about somebody like Muhammad Ali. Perseverance. The man was out of the sport for like 3 years due to something that he was just standing for. He was persevering through trials and tribulations. That takes a lot of willpower, and to get back into the sport and to have his second act be just as good as his first act is something that's amazing. So you got to think about players like this, or even just think about somebody like Tom Brady. He might not have had as much of, trials and tribulations as somebody like a Muhammad Ali, but the dude is a beast. And when it comes down to his mentality, he has that never quit mentality, and a lot of things that other people will use as excuses, Tom Brady just uses as a chip on his shoulder. The dude's 45 years old, coming back into the NFL trying to win another Super Bowl. So I was just watching a boxing match this past weekend between Errol Spence Jr. and Yordenis Ugas. Both of them great fighters, but Errol Spence Jr. is a cut above, and it showed this weekend, through his kind of he just got a dog mentality, and he definitely was just, relentless in the ring. So we got to be relentless in life. That's pretty much where I'm going to end this video at. But anyways, guys, if you guys are interested in, getting in the best shape of your life through calisthenics, hit my website up. That's Travelsthenix.com. Book a free consultation with me today. We can map out a blueprint for you to become the best version of yourself. Also, if you guys are interested in any, personal training programs that I already have that are set on the website, I have an 8-week program for beginners. I have a 12-week program for people who might have an athletic background. But anyways, guys, I'd love to hear from you guys. Tap in with me, book that free consultation. We can chop it up for 15 minutes. I hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.